Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We have an epic tale to tell today. It's a lot longer than usual. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Now, on to the story. How to serve your wayward spouse with papers. Advice. I've given her every chance to come clean and work on reconciliation. She's still seeing her AP. She's going to be at his condo this Saturday for a romantic dinner. I overheard the whole call. I'm crushed, but what can I do at this point? I want to have her served at his house to help confirm for our mutual friends and family this is not on me. She will deny and gaslight to the end. She's proven that's what she does and will continue to do. Is that the best way to have her served? Also, I want to change the locks on the house and lock her out for at least the night. Is that legal and the right thing to do? We own the house together and sadly we have 3 kids, 9, 7 and 3. Lawyer here. You need to talk to your lawyer before doing anything, and follow their advice to a T. Clients often make themselves look bad in front of the court later because of the things they did at the beginning of the divorce process. When emotions are raw, it's too easy to show up in person and lose your temper. If you live in the US, your lawyer may advise you to use a process server to have more control over when and where she's served rather than service by the sheriff. Either way, litigation, and even mediated divorces, takes a long time. If she's gaslighting and manipulative, your best bet is to look like the most reasonable, rational, calm litigant that you can. Vindictive acts will just give her something to cry to the judge about later. TL, doctor, stay calm and listen to your lawyer. Good luck, heart. I have an initial consultation today. I'm going to ask her to draw up the papers and facilitate her getting served. I want it done at his house so that he knows. Who knows what she's telling him? It will also serve as proof she was with him when she told me she's out with her girlfriends, which has been the most typical cover. Some states have rules about where people can be served. For example, in my state, domiciliary service, or service at one's home, is required for certain pleadings. Obviously listen to your lawyer, but focusing on using service to prove her infidelity might not be the best idea. You may have to hire a PI or gather evidence another way. I've told lots of clients this, and maybe it will help you. What has happened to you is one of the most devastating, heartbreaking things that can happen to a human. It's like a death. You are grieving the person you thought your spouse was and the marriage you wanted. Everything you are feeling right now is real and visceral and justified. Some of my clients thought that when served with divorce papers, their manipulative liar of a spouse would suddenly be forced to admit to all of their wrongdoing. Your spouse is not going to stop lying just because you catch her in one lie. They are going to continue lying or try to spin it where it's your fault. Ever hear a cheater say something like, "Well, I only started cheating because you didn't trust me"? She is not ever going to give you what you want, whatever that is. You owe it to yourself and your children to work on not seeking a reaction from her. Divorce is long, but life is longer. You can do this. You describe my situation so eloquently. Another way I describe it is, she's served me up a giant turd sandwich and I can either eat it, or starve. Aren't they going to be fired? What exactly can HR do? She's a federal employee. I'm not sure what the official policies are, but if this was known in her office it would ruin her reputation. I'm not interested in ruining her career. Especially since spousal support is calculated by my income. I've been a stay-at-home dad for 4 years. We made this decision together for me to stay home and I got certified as a LPN to care for our disabled son. I get paid by Medicaid to handle his G-tube feedings and all that because otherwise the state would be paying someone else to come do it. I make about $30,000 doing that, she makes over $100,000 at her job. It's a kick in the dick that I gave up my career to do this for our family. Then she goes and starts having an intentional affair. I'm gonna be financially screwed when we split. Sadly, I may be the dad, but I'll be the one dependent on child support and spousal support. Does the AP have a wife? Nope, he's a single guy that probably does this with more than one married woman. Most of what you are asking might be best served by contacting an attorney first. Having her served at his place would be most effective. Don't be surprised, however, if it doesn't have much impact and doesn't ruin their evening. Although you might get it's not what you think. Yup, it's not what you think is what I've gotten the whole time. Even when I produce what a normal person would consider smoking gun evidence, I need to be prepared for that and pretty much assume that will be the reaction. Other than seeing an attorney, you need to gather all hard evidence of the affair, along with protecting your assets. First and foremost is that you protect yourself, and if you have child, to protect them as well. There will be hurt and pain, but do your best to keep a cool head. I just ordered the service of papers tomorrow at 4:30. It's a simple phone call in my state. She can choose to accept that, and if not, they'll do it in person. For my dad's advice, I'm going to look her in the eye and give her a heads up so she can hear it from me first. I'm going to be calm and not engage in any further discussion. I'm going to tell her I'll continue to be civil and talk with her about taking care of the kids only. If she wants to discuss our marriage, she can save it for a counseling session we already had scheduled in 2 weeks. I'm going to tell her she can have the bedroom or the spare room in the basement. I'll take the one she doesn't choose, but I will no longer sleep in the same room as her. She's leaving at 5 o'clock for a romantic dinner with her AP. I know this because I recorded her calls with a well-placed iPad. I was going to have her served at his place. My lawyer has informed me not to tell her any of that because it's considered illegal in my state to record phone calls like that. So I just have to be civil and say very little. Tomorrow I will break free from 4 months of gaslighting. Wish me luck. She is still secretly talking to AP seeking advice. I feel I got my anger and depression under control and my WS seemed to be on a path to reconciliation. Until one day she was holding up her phone so I could chat with her dad about fantasy football on FaceTime. A call from AP came in. They are co-workers and do need to talk on an appropriate level sometime. Makes this super challenging. That call I believe was a work call and I brushed it off, but it got me back into the spy game. She's actually on bed rest recovering from foot surgery. I stashed an iPad under the bed to record her phone conversations when I left. She called him several times during the week, not every day but still. She reminisced with him about places they'd been, chatted about shows on Netflix, and then she told him she missed his beautiful voice and couldn't wait to get back in the office. I flipped and just couldn't talk or look at her. I was leaving for a trip for 2 nights and just went no contact. She called and texted me dozens of times and I just didn't answer. Her mom came to take care of her while I was gone. When I got home she chased me up the stairs in crutches, demanding desperately to know what changed. I couldn't tell her about the iPad because snooping would set us back worse for sure. I told her I just suddenly realized nothing has changed and I know she's still talking to her AP. She then said that all the progress we've made must have been fake and she was just waiting for this. I feel horrible that we are set back again, but were we really ever making progress if she's still having emotional phone conversations with the AP sneakily behind my back? I think I'm working towards us as a couple together and she is working on a way to have me to play house with and still date someone else. Did I do the right thing going no contact for 2 days like that? It's a super complicated situation that I can't fully explain here. We have 3 kids and one with severe disabilities, and that's what has caused most of the friction and stress in our marriage. I've felt my ways and she seems to be dealing with it by having this affair. She's not a bad person at heart, but she's doing a very bad thing. Totally in the fog. How do I break her out of this? Everything I do seems to make it worse, but I can't just sit back and play house husband while she figures herself out. I grew up in a divorced family and swore I'd never do that to my kids. Help. She said that all the progress we've made must have been fake and she was just waiting for this. Yes, the progress was fake. But you're not the one faking the progress. She is. Load up the 180, and see a lawyer. She either breaks total contact with AP, or reconciliation will fail, period. If that means quitting her job, so be it, the choice is up to her. You and the kids, or her job and the AP, can't have both and expect reconciliation to succeed. If she's talking about "I miss your beautiful voice," she is still with him in spirit, if not body. As an aside, your snooping is justified. Get it out of your head that it's bad that you snoop. It's not. In fact, she should be 200% transparent with you, and snooping should be expected. Trust will never be regained when she wants to keep secrets under the guise of privacy. But anyways, you need to get to a lawyer and go over your options, like yesterday. Don't tell her about it, don't discuss it further, just do it. And keep recording her, and have discussions with her that are recorded as well. You might need them later. Additionally, what works to break the affair fog is time and unpredictability. Don't do what you've always done, it only serves to provide a nice comfy safe base to continue in the fog. Start going out more with friends, go to the gym, make yourself scarce. If you leave the house mad or sad, come back happy, fake it till you make it, and don't discuss the details of where you went, what you did, or who you were with. If you have dinner as a family every night, bail out unexpectedly and take yourself to dinner and a night out. Whatever routine you have, break it without discussion. Take off for a weekend with little or no warning to her, have Mil come by to check on the kids. "I need me time" is enough explanation, don't go into detail at all. Keep her in the dark about most things, this chaos will keep her mind on you, and off the AP, maybe not at first, but with time. Predictability is the friend of the fog. Did you say that your snooping would set you guys back? Do you honestly believe that? Her continuing the affair is what is setting you guys back. Period. You need to spend some time deciding what your goals are in all of this, then work on coming up with some boundaries for her. Then deciding on consequences that will happen if she violates those boundaries. Then execute them. Weakness won't get you anywhere with a spouse that is actively enjoying their affair. I know what you mean and agree. I just know that snooping or it is the piece I can control. I would prefer for couples to find a way to reconcile. However, as long as she continues to have personal conversations with someone she works with, and they had/have an affair, reconciliation will never happen. It isn't as complicated as you think. Your wife had an affair, and it appears to either be on temporary hold and will begin again, or hasn't really stopped. She needs to leave until she can figure herself out. Get a separation agreement while being advised by legal counsel. Personally, pack her stuff and drop her off at her AP's place. Let her be his problem. And if he has a wife or so, he'll have some splaining to do. AP isn't married. You're still living in the fog that she is going change. She's not, otherwise she would have done so already. You confront her for God's sakes. You don't tell her how you know, but you tell that you do know. No more beating the dead horse, dude. Also might help to know, she is still in severe denial about her affair. Crazy, since I have hotel receipts, lift receipts, photos and all kinds of evidence. She just finds a shred of deniability in everything and keeps denying, blame shifting and gaslighting. So, what are you going to do with this evidence? Just sit on it and pretend to reconcile? Prepare your exit plan, bro. She has to realize that you will leave her and not look back. Is her AP married? Is dating among employees allowed at her workplace? What consequences has she had for her betrayal? Did you separate? Did you blow their affair up? Did you tell her parents/siblings? Or did you just say let's reconcile and rug sweep? You can't make someone reconcile, you are being extremely codependent. Yes, I know. How do I break out of that? Are you seeing a therapist at all? For several months. So is she. We saw one together twice. Once before D-Day since there were already problems. Then once after. I blew up because she was denying to the therapist too. We are trying again on Monday, but she's already planting seeds like, don't bring the same crap. How long was her affair? Not sure, she still denies and won't open up about it. Possibly 6 months, year. Probably mostly an emotional affair and likely / possibly still happening in some capacity. Possibly still happening? She just told him she can't wait to get back to the office because she misses his beautiful voice. The affair is going on right now. You need to accept this in the first place. There is no reconciliation going on here. It's just you trying to keep a boat afloat while your partner is sinking it. FML. I'm going to be quiet about the recordings. Just wait until I get something even more incriminating. The biggest piece of evidence. She planned an overnight trip to hike with a friend from work, a female. I was totally cool with it at the time because I totally trusted her. I came across a picture from the trip with her male co-worker in it. Never saw a picture of her female co-worker from the trip. Furthermore, the hotel receipt I got a hold of had the room booked in his name on our credit card. She says that it was a group of people that included guys and she thought I'd be mad. Such bullshit, but that's what she's going with. Totally denying, gaslighting the whole thing. There's other evidence too. FML. I'm in an extremely similar situation. She plays at reconciling, then I pull up phone and text records and can see she's been lying to me every damn day. And then I naturally get pissed and withdraw and she says I'm punishing her and I'm the one throwing away all of our progress by making a big deal out of it. Such bullshit. Good luck to you. Damn, we should get together and have lunch. Holy shit, it sounds just like my situation. FML. She's denying and saying I'm spreading lies about her. She is gaslighting you. Get a buy and lawyer up. Yup, she knows that. If we split, I'd certainly tell everyone I know exactly why. Since I'm still attempting to reconcile, I'm holding off on that. I told the people I did because I needed support and advice. Holy shit. You keep saying you are reconciling. It takes 2 people to reconcile. Your WW is not remorseful, will not even admit or even acknowledge the affair. Continues to lie and contact her AP behind your back. Holy ducking shit. And you still say you are reconciling? Really? You are living in denial. Here is a bit of advice. It only takes one person to divorce. You don't need her to agree. Please pull your head out of your ass. I know, I'm dying here. This is my worst nightmare. Then she told him she missed his beautiful voice and couldn't wait to get back in the office. This affair isn't over. It might not be physical, I'm a smidge jaded so going to say doubt it, but the emotional affair is still in full swing. I get it about you growing up in a divorced family, but you got to see she can still blow this family of yours up. What happens if this guy gets her pregnant, if it gets physical again? What happens if this guy asks her to leave you in a year, 2? You might have the fortitude and strength to want to work on this, but from what I'm reading she isn't there next to you making the same effort. I was in a family where the cheating parent chose to stay because of the kids, and for me that was so worse, to see the pain the faithful parent went through, the insane inducing obsessive need to constantly check up and snoop, getting me to keep tabs, but on the other side as I grew and understood more and more, hugging my dad in the morning and then at night him smelling completely different, shower soap from hotel hookups, other woman perfume etc etc, and because they were hurting each other I got overlooked. There was no support for me and I wished beyond anything they would have divorced, because at least then when I was in the room I got some focus, some of my needs were met. I think there is a lot more support for divorced parents out there these days. Weekend groups so kids can play together. Socializing kids with kids makes them happy and kills shyness, and since you had grown up in one you know what not to do. If you remember certain things you hated, simply work hard on avoiding doing that to your kid. Everything I do seems to make it worse, but I can't just sit back and play house husband while she figures herself out. No, you can't, so try to live separately, seek legal counsel, get some ducks in the row quietly. I'm all for getting support from anyone, so if you don't want to do therapy to help you organize your thoughts/feelings, talk to your family or friends, not mutual friends. At least you know you can't continue like this and something needs to give. It just got worse. A hidden iPad on record just confirmed the affair. Sure, there's still a reasonable doubt, but I'm now convinced. I am crushed, sad, mad, confused, insulted, angry. You name it, I'm feeling it right now. At least I have clarity now. It's exit time. FML. Update, the phone conversations got worse. I confirmed the worst by stashing it in her car. She's back in the office and drives him home one day. They kissed when he dropped him off. No peck on the cheek either. I've retained an attorney and informed her she's going to be getting served on Monday, smiley face. Dating after divorce. Advice. I served my cheating wife papers on November 4th. You can scroll back and read my whole saga, it's been rough. She pushed back and wants to stall the proceedings and do an informal trial separation instead, maybe for a year. She has her reasons, but basically she just wants to continue to have her cake and eat it too. I agreed, but I'm secretly still pursuing divorce. I'm just getting my ducks in a row, including, I need a job offer in hand in order to do a cash-out refinance that will enable me to pay her off and enable me to keep the house. I've been a stay-at-home dad for 4 years, but I'm qualified for pretty good corporate jobs like I used to have. It's just going to take some time in the COVID era. I'm also going for majority custody of the kids, which is why I need to keep the house. Even with alimony, I'll need a job. So it bodes well for me that she wants to stall anyway. We've agreed we can both date under this temporary agreement. Why not? She's been dating outside our marriage for a year and still didn't stop after I caught her. Under our current agreement, we each get every other weekend to be free and clear of the kids. I've finally emotionally moved on and I'm not even interested in reconciling anymore, so I'm going to take advantage of this and date too. I've talked to a lot of women online, Tinder, Bumble, etc., in the last few days and have a few women that I've built enough rapport I could go out with. Most of them I'd only be interested in a hookup, but there is one in particular, I've got to be honest, has me a bit smitten. Should I go out and try have a couple meaningless flings with women I'm not that interested in just to get that out of my system before asking out the one I could actually see myself dating? My first free weekend is coming up and I'll have 4 to 5 days free over the long Thanksgiving weekend. I'm burnt out as hell from what my lying, cheating, gaslighting soon-to-be ex-wife has put me through in the last year. My sister has been through the same and has offered me her beautiful vacation condo about 10 hours from where I live to go be alone and get my head straight. I'm so looking forward to it. I was planning this as a solo trip, to truly reflect and get my mental game together again. Am I crazy to consider inviting this other woman to come with me as a crazy romantic move? She's cool, but I'm afraid in part, I'm just considering this as tit-for-tat spite. My ex-wife's favorite way of cheating was going on overnight trips away like this with her affair partner. This would really be a two can play that game move. But I'm really just more concerned about myself. Inviting a woman on a trip like that as basically a first date is nuts. It could be really awesome, but it could be a disaster. Oh wow, how my worries have changed since I finally emotionally moved on from my wife. I'm now concerned more about what women I should date instead of worrying about her. I'm free, but I feel like a caged wounded animal being released back into the wild. I'm not sure if I should run wild and try to duck everything that moves or just stay away from women for a while cause they all must be evil as crazy. I'm also trying to figure out how to be confident and normal around women and not be a sad broken man. Any advice? I think you're going to find that you're not yet ready for a serious relationship and you've got a lot of emotions to overcome before seriously giving yourself into another relationship. So tread lightly so you don't unintentionally hurt another person. Be very honest with your feelings and emotions with your romantic partners. And steady the course on your divorce plans. You can't fully move on until she's completely separated from you, and living together is just delaying it. Stop asking for permission like a child and go do what you want to do. Nice, smiley face. Within 2 weeks of finding out that my ex-fiancé was cheating on me, I was banging it out with other women. To be honest with you, it was the best therapy for my situation. I was still hurt for several months though. Within 6 months of D-Day I had a great girlfriend. We didn't last, but it ended amicably. I later met my wife and life has turned out fantastic. Do yourself a favor and reconnect with the opposite sex, as it will be a confidence booster. It doesn't sound like you're ready as you're describing the invite as tit for tat. Take the time to settle your emotions and mind. Let go of the emotional attachment that leads to the revenge hookups thinking. Then you may be at a space where you become emotionally available for your next serious relationship. I'm not saying don't date and hook up, just mind your emotional self. Please remember that if you invite another woman, she is a real live, feeling human being. Is it right to use anyone in that manner? If you are upfront about it and she still agrees to go, then great. Enjoy. But make sure she knows where your head is right now. Let her make informed decisions. I've been totally honest with her. She is freshly divorced too. Our heads are pretty close to the same place, I think. Excellent. Full steam ahead. Have fun. I'm not telling you to not have a fling or two, but never bring a stranger to your house. Meet at a hotel. Use condoms. Keep yourself safe. Have fun. Our house is off limits for both of us. No affair partners or dates in the house or around the kids. How was Thanksgiving? What did you decide after all? Thanks for asking. I did my trip over Thanksgiving solo. Had an amazing time by myself, then on the last day hooked up with a really cool woman from Bumble. The date went well and we hooked up on the spot. Amazing after 14 months in which I had zero sex because me future ex-wife cut it off. This chick is really cool, a professional singer, and I have the open invite to come back and hook up anytime. She lives 4 hours away, so it's the perfect scenario. As for the other woman I had been taking to and was kinda smitten over, I'm seeing her fairly regularly when I can. The first date we just got to know each other. She's totally in the same boat as me. Just frustrated from recently ending her 16-year marriage. Neither of us want to be serious right now, but we are hanging out, hooking up and having fun. So that's perfect too. The combination of us both feeling sexually frustrated is good fuel for some amazing sex. So far I'm quite enjoying this separation. I have every other weekend off and I'm getting laid like crazy. It's getting to my ex. Even though she's the one who cheated and separation was her idea. She saw on my credit card that I bought chocolate and wine before going out one night. She was like, really, you buy my favorite things for some other woman? I was pretty much like, yup, and how's it feel? The job hunt is going well. I'm far along in the process for 2 jobs. 1, to go back to my old job with my old company. That's pretty much in the bag, and as soon as I have an offer in hand, I can start the cash out refinance that will allow me to buy my ex out of my house/life. Also, I'm far along in the process for an even better job that I'm even more excited about. Fingers crossed. So the future looks bright. I just look at my ex as someone I'm already divorced with and try to treat it like it was years ago, and now we are cordial friends with the shared interest of raising the kids that happen to be both of ours. Whenever she starts in on any of her annoying shit, I can just focus on the fact that I'm not only allowed to, but I'm actually out there successfully crushing tail like I'm 25 again. My self-esteem is making a roaring comeback after letting my wife walk all over me for years. So it's still hard to get used to the idea of getting divorced, and I know some rough times are ahead. Having an arbitrator divide up our assets and parenting time is going to be shitty. But I'm realizing that I can be all I want to be and more without my toxic ex in my life. Feels pretty good after months of anxiety and depression. Can't sleep. Need support. Since D-Day, I've had major problems sleeping. I'm so worn out from all of her gaslighting. My mind is so destroyed thinking about how our family is about to be blown up. I'm so depressed thinking I'm about to spend the rest of my life in the divorced family hell I grew up in. The pickups and drop-offs, the passive-aggressive battles using the kids. I swore I'd never do this to my own kids. I'm not the one who did this to us, yet she sleeps well every night. I haven't been able to sleep well in 4 months. My mind is deteriorating from this. I'm scared about the future. I left a good job to stay home with our kids. Now I don't have a career and it's a horrible time to find a job. I'm pretty screwed. She just seems nice and secure and it doesn't matter to her. I can't sleep at night, I can't face the day. My self-esteem is destroyed. I've been in counseling but no counselor can fix this. She's destroyed me. I've met with several attorneys. I have one ready to go. I have the $5,000 to put down. I'm just trying to build the nerve. But my mind is not clear. I can't focus and I'm a wreck. Sorry, not sure what I'm asking for here. It's just 3 a.m. and I can't sleep. Have had many clients in your shoes, and the ones that suddenly have a change in attitude, do well. Had one fellow, who hit the anger stage, 2 weeks after his wife had confessed. He went deeper, found the pics, the vids, and the recordings. He hit the roof. Anger stage was spectacular. It started with nuclear exposure. He sent the package to her parents. Which parent wants to see their daughter as the star of a homemade porno? AP's world was crushed. He was involved with a Christian organization who fired and blacklisted him. His wife kicked him out and within weeks was homeless. My client supplied the BW with evidence and legal assistance. AP was done like dinner. On viewing the videos, BH discovered that a particular act that he had wanted and was refused all during the marriage was freely given to AP. A video of her providing this to AP was broadcast to every family member, every church member. She literally could not show her face without a snicker or whisper. Her reputation was in tatters. She called her soon-to-be ex, crying that everyone is pointing fingers and she may have to leave town. He hung up. Said that if he was a second-class citizen in his own marriage, then she could deal with the fallout. She fought for a bit more money, but the evidence kept getting out and embarrassing the hell out of her. She had not worked since D-Day. Could not take the embarrassment. At one point, she totally capitulated on the D, packed her bags and left. Thankfully there were no children. Another little piece of evidence she forgot to mention, too many abortions. She was fairly incapable of staying pregnant, although, he got to work fast in his next relationship. His ex cannot even look at his Facebook, as it puts her into a deep depression. All these stories have the same thread. The wife refuses to do certain things in bed but goes much further with her AP. This seems to be typical female. Why is this? Does the wife refuse to do this to her husband because she isn't really attracted to him? Part of it has to do with keeping the new lover, and the thrill going. Had one guy in the office screaming at his wife, "You sexed him, and refused me for 15 years. She keeps going, okay, 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 so now you will get it as well." He basically told her that he would never have sex with her again, and that he was staying in the marriage for the kids, but his new girlfriend was supplying the sex his wife did not, and that on the day that his youngest turns 18 he will dump his wife, and marry his girlfriend. WW went absolutely ballistic. Said, "I am already old and fat, who would want me?" He goes, "I certainly do not." It took her 5 years to lose the weight. She underwent a facelift. Spent tens of thousands, but still could not get too many young guys interested. Meanwhile he was true to his word. In June, their youngest was off to college, and he had just turned 18. BH called a moving van. He loaded all of his worldly possessions into the truck and delivered it to his girlfriend's place. He handed his WW the D papers, and told her that their arrangement is now effectively terminated. She spent the next few years looking for Mr. Right, knowing she had already chucked Mr. Right out the window, and was looking for a replacement. Wow, brutal story. That guy is a true hero. I have seen several explanations for this in posts on different subs here. In my own case, my ex-wife confirmed in marriage counseling that it was indeed because she was not attracted to me, and never had been. She liked gym rats with huge muscles, which is pretty much the opposite of me. But it turns out that guys who spend all their time in a gym do not have careers that could support the lifestyle she wanted, so she settled for me, then did the wild sex things with other men she was more attracted to. Other common reasons I have seen women give are: she wanted to try it out, but was afraid that if her husband liked it and she didn't, she would not easily be able to stop doing it. I don't believe this one, unless her husband is a rapist who won't take no for an answer. That she gets more excited and more turned on by the thrill of doing something naughty like cheating in the first place, and this makes her open to trying things like anal, threesomes and BDSM that she is not turned on enough to do with her husband. That the other guy treats her better than her husband does, therefore she is open to more things with him. Again, I don't really believe this one. If her husband never treated her well, why did she marry him? And if he did treat her well in the beginning so that she agreed to marry him, what stopped her from being wild with him in bed back then? That doing these things makes her feel dirty, submissive or not as respected, and she enjoys feeling that way with a fling, but not with someone she is going to live her life with. I don't understand this logic. I would only want to try things that make me feel vulnerable with someone I trust completely, e.a. my spouse. Fortunately, I now have a girlfriend that thinks the same way I do, which is that you should make sure that the best sex you ever had is with each other. She makes sure that everything she has ever done with anyone else she does with me, and more besides. And she asked me to promise her that I have done everything I have ever done with anyone else with her, which I did gladly. You have to realize that this is purposeful. After her decision to cheat, instead of owning up, she decided to blame you. You weren't the AP. She didn't meet the AP before she had children with you. This is not about you, it's about her not owning up to her mess, and you being so broken you can't react. If you truly love your children, it's time to start loving yourself, and taking care of yourself. She broke you, and went on a psychological warfare campaign, and you are falling for it. You need to realize a few things. She didn't break up with you, and pursued a new relationship. She cheated, lied about it, and gaslighted you until you didn't know which way is up. You are also in a battle of being on the outside looking in. I don't know if she is trying to replace you, or feels she is just better off without you. Only a true narcissist would cheat on you and feel they have moral high ground. You have to decide if that's how you want your children to be raised. Stop feeling sorry for yourself, and stop letting her feel like you are less than. There is no winning in your situation, there it is just doing what is best for your children. Stop worrying about what happened in your marriage, and decide what kind of father you are going to be to your children. Your marriage is over, blown up by a nuclear bomb, and that's on her, but if you can't rise up as a father, that's on you. Find the help you need to move forward. Long story, but I did drop the divorce papers on her. The first 2 days were the hell I imagined. Then we calmed down and had an amicable discussion. I agreed to pause the divorce proceedings and do the trial separation she had been asking for months. I didn't agree before because I just felt it would be giving her a license to continue her affair. But part of the deal is we can both see other people. She's still seeing her AP, but it's freeing. I don't care anymore. It's been 6 weeks. I've found dating to be pretty easy and freeing. I've had one crazy fling and I'm seeing another woman regularly. I'm working on getting back to work and I'm far in the process for 2 different really good jobs. It's still hard and adjustment, but I'm getting myself and my confidence back. It's quite nice. We'll see where this leads. Man, I feel for you. I am also living with non-reconciling, unremorseful spouse who simply blame shifts and gaslights. It's horrible, gut-wrenching days I could have never imagined. She sleeps nice for like 9 hours each day while I duck my brain all day and all night from her betrayal. She shows absolutely zero care about my health or me losing job. Like zero care. She talks to AP right when I am in house and gives ducking no damn. Here's what I will say. I don't think divorce is unavoidable. However, you do divorce now or 6 months later, it doesn't make much difference. My point is that don't do divorce out of spite and revenge. Start 100% North Carolina and see where this goes. Many affairs gets dissolved automatically given enough time and WS come out of fog. So take advantage of that time. Don't pay any attention to her. Reduce any verbal communication to absolutely zero. Work on yourself. Imagine you are already separated. How would you live your life? Just live that way for 6 months. If nothing changes, then pull the trigger and end it. But meanwhile you can process, digest and adjust to this significant change in your life. You can work with kids slowly so they also know what is coming. Buying this adaptation time is super important for your mental health and getting prepared. I am not going to say this is easy. It takes a huge toll to continue living with a cheater, and I can fully attest to it. But it has also given me so much time to strategize and understand the whole situation better. I live in massive stress, but I have also become more and more confident that divorce is not going to be such a disaster. I was devastated at the thought of divorce, but now after processing for months, at least 50% of the time I look forward for new life. It turns out my wife had caged me all these years. I have lost myself, I have lost my identity and who I was before the marriage. The realization of this was crucial. I am also starting to come to terms with how I will manage my kids, and even though I will get less time, I think it will be much better quality. Most importantly, they would know that I didn't stand up for dishonesty and lies. Fathers need to provide a figure that kids can look up to. That is far more important than spending time with them. I'm getting there. I've retained the attorney and she'll be served in the next few days. It actually felt good to fill out the paperwork. I've given her every chance, but I know the affair hasn't stopped. If anything, it's ramped up. But I finally have the smoking gun evidence I've been trying to collect for 4 months. I stashed an iPad in her car, she drove him home from work and they kissed when she dropped him off. I have it all in an audio file. It was no peck on the cheek either. With that, I can move in with confidence that when the day comes that our mutual friends and family want to hear my side of the story, there won't be any doubt. I don't have to tell my kids in 20 years that I left their mother because I thought she was having an affair, but because I know she will deny it to the grave, even with proof. So anyway, I'm focusing on me and my kids and thinking about what kind of house I want, how I want to live, and it's liberating. Thanks, I retained the attorney today. Somehow it felt good filling out the forms. I'm feeling kinda liberated. I also just yesterday, I happened to catch the smoking gun evidence I was looking for the whole time. It's a recording of them kissing. No peck on the cheek either. I'm in a no-fault state, so it doesn't matter to the case, but when it comes down to it, her parents and other family and friends will want to hear my side of the story. I'll be nice about it, but I'll be telling the truth with solid evidence. Previous to this, I had plenty of evidence, but each piece had a grain of reasonable doubt. That was so maddening. Now I feel free. She's doing this to your kids. You didn't advise her to go out and duck someone else, it's all on her. Give the lawyer the green light and let him/her do their job. You'll get primary care of the kids and child support plus alimony. Use the time after the divorce to work part-time and, I don't know what your job was, either reconnect with your old skills or train in new ones. Go to the gym and tone up. Get those Tinderellas hot and breathless about you. Confidence, strength and leadership count, but depression and sadness is not very attractive to anyone. Don't shit-talk your ex to the kids. You will pull through, you just can't see the light at the end of the tunnel yet. I'm getting there, thanks. Update us when she's served. I hired the attorney. I had an elaborate plan to have her served at her AP's house. The attorney advised me to keep things as civil as possible so I looked good in front of the judge. So I simply told her myself before she was headed out for girls' night out, aka out with her AP, that she would be getting a call from an attorney on Monday because I've filed for dissolution of marriage. She just said, "Okay, I've been talking to someone too," and walked out the door. She stuck her head back in the door and said, "Did you already file without me?" I just stared at her like, "Did you not hear what I just said?" She said, "You know there would have been a cost savings if we filed together." She walked out and didn't come home that night. So relieved. Now I can focus on my own life with my kids without this toxic person in the house. Any update after her being served? I did it nicely, told her in person to expect the call. She got the call the next Monday morning. We are in the process. It's been up and down between amicable and adversarial. I moved to the basement, which I'm totally cool with. Just putting the kids first and letting the process play out. The saga continues. Update. D-Day was back in July. I presented all the evidence. She systematically denied, downplayed and even blame shifted everything. She was seeing a co-worker, including overnight stays in hotels, telling me she was doing fun trips with her girlfriends. After her denials, I told her fine, I still wanted to work on our relationship. I care about our family, we have 3 kids and I don't take divorce lightly. She changed a bit and things kinda looked good, but I discovered over and over again that she was in constant contact with her AP. If I called her out on it, she'd just call me a stalker, for looking at our phone bill to see she's calling and texting him multiple times nearly every day. They worked together, but the volume of contact was totally inappropriate. In August she asked for a separation. She cited another couple that did that, got back together and things are better than ever supposedly. I just took that as giving her a license to continue her affair and refused. I said we either need to work in it, justice, or get divorced. I put up with it from July to October before I snapped. I placed an iPad under her bed and a couple times in her car. Recordings confirmed the affair was real and still happening. The final straw was a recording of her giving him a ride home from work, which was capped off by a long make-out goodbye kiss. I got a lawyer and notified her on November 4th she'll be getting served the following Monday. After a few days of hell trying to co-parent and live together, we had a semi-amicable discussion. She never actually accepted the papers, which were served by phone. Although she has then notarized and ready. But she asked to put the proceeding on hold and back off to the trial separation she'd been asking for. We've got some good reasons to stall. Our house can't be sold without a huge tax hit until July, and I currently don't have a job, but I'm in the hunt. It would be better for all of us to split when the house can be sold and I'm secure back in a job. That way, we can each afford a nice place for our kids to live, which needs to be our priority. It's my goal to secure a job good enough to do a cash out refee and keep the house. I'm seriously like 90% the primary parent. She makes over 6 figures and is going to end up paying some amount of alimony and child support. But I don't want to be dependent on that. So as far as the separation, we agreed that we can both date, with some ground rules. Like no dates in the house or around the kids, etc. I was initially insecure about dating. Who would want to date a 42-year-old unemployed guy with 3 kids, one with special needs? But I got out there and found it wasn't hard. I had sex with the very first girl I went in a date with, her idea, not me pushing for it, and it was amazing. She lives 4 hours away, so it's not practical to see her, but I've got an open invite for future booty calls if I want to make the trip. It felt strange because I never thought I'd have sex with anyone other than my wife the rest of my life, but this is my new reality. The next day I had a date with another woman who I'd met through a running club. I felt a little more serious about her, so we just got to know each other on the first date, but since the second date, we've been screwing like wild banshees and having the most amazing sex. On top of that, we talk/text every day and get along quite well. This has boosted my self-esteem, which had been systematically beat down by my wife for quite some time. The tables have turned, she can sense my confidence, and now I'm the one that feels like I could take or leave our marriage, and she's the one that is concerned about working it. We had a huge blowout with her and my family and plans for Christmas. My wife was stubborn and refused to let me take the kids on Christmas Eve to be with my side of the family. I eventually caved and let her have Christmas Eve. And as things calmed down, we even decided to spend Christmas Eve's morning together for the sake of the kids and the kind of work on things. It was nice, but on Christmas Day I took the kids, told her I was going house to house to get presents from aunts and uncles etc. Of course she found out that was a lie, and my family rearranged all their plans to do a gathering Christmas Day instead of Christmas Eve, all because of her. She was totally butthurt when she realized I just straight up didn't invite her, and she was so mad I lied to her. My response? It sure sucks to be lied to, doesn't it? Referring to her affair. Now we're not as amicable. Under our agreement, either one of us can restart the divorce proceedings at any time, and she keeps threatening with that. But it's not much of a threat because I'm the one that filed it anyway, and it was her idea to do a separation. I just happen to be enjoying the separation. So the saga continues. The only difference is I have my confidence back, and if we do work on it, I'm not going to put up with a lot of things I used to. If we do split, I feel confident that I can live successfully and happy without her. So that's where I'm at. She is not wanting to divorce until you have a job. Doing it now will clean her out between alimony and child support. You need to do it before, not after. If I have a job first, I'll have enough income to keep the house. That's my goal. Yes, and you'll be shafted tens of thousands in alimony. I can't see how there can be a middle ground. I want to keep things stable for the kids. Staying in the home they are used to with the primary parent is the best thing for the kids. Plus there's other reasons. This house is a better long-term investment because it has a rental unit built in. If I keep it, I'll come out ahead in the long run, even with a small hit in alimony. And it will allow her to afford a better house. I want that to be nice too, since my kids will be there some percentage of the time. You're not understanding this. You go for full custody of the kids and the house. Many of ex-wives have done it over the years. It didn't matter if they were the one that cheated or not. Your wife will have to pay the mortgage until you get a job. Then the court will adjust the amount. When my sister divorced her husband, he had to pay her rent, bills and tuition until she graduated and found a job. Read it twice. Read it 3x. Then ask your lawyer. This is inadvisable by literally dozens of betrayals, and you made this agreement outside of legal counsel. It was a mistake. I get the concept of protecting your wayward from the fallout of their actions for the sake of their reputation and your kids, but it almost universally backfires. Either you have to drop it and not care that it backfires, or you eat a SHT sandwich every time you think of it. I don't think you're in a place to be gracious. She was totally butthurt when she realized I just straight up didn't invite her, and she was so mad I lied to her. My response? It sure sucks to be lied to, doesn't it? Referring to her affair. Lamau, I had a good laugh at that last part. Well played, sir. Nothing quite hurts an arc like realizing they're being fast-tracked to the waste bin. It's a direct hit to their bloated egos. Has she started pushing for couples counseling yet? Don't go, it's just an opportunity for her to blame shift and pin her cheating on you. I had his in couples counseling. It was a disaster. She asked last night to start up again. I said go ahead and set it up. You need to soze the marriage. Her threatening the divorce is her trying to hold you hostage. Don't let her hold that power over you. If you still have all of that evidence against her, then bring it to a divorce lawyer and start the proceedings immediately. Also, if you do it after you get a job, then she can take a huge cut from your wages for alimony and child support. You should do it now so that she's screwed financially. Hulk Hogan did the same to his wife by selling his royalties for $1 to his best friend and bought them back for $1 when the divorce was finalized. Sugar Ray's wife took his belts in the divorce, and she didn't have to even put on gloves. Bring down the gavel before you get the job. Hopefully the future holds kindly for you. I get the timing and your suggestion, but I'm taking a job that pays just barely enough for me to be able to refee the house. It's my old company and I'm just starting at the bottom again. The alimony will be calculated, and then over the next few years I'm going to day up the ranks and get raises. Don't worry, I've got it figured out. I have an MBA in finance, smiley face. You're awesome, cool face. How much custody to ask for? Custody/kids. I'm entering the divorce process. We have 3 kids together, 9, 7, 4. The oldest has special needs/disabilities. Initially my thought was to try to negotiate for as much custody as possible, put on the metaphorical boxing gloves, fight it out and see where it lands. I'm in Colorado, where the courts like to start negotiations at 50-50 and strive to keep it that way unless there's a compelling reason to move either way. Safety of the kids is the court's priority, but that's not likely an issue with either me or my ex. We are both good parents, just no longer good for each other. I've been a stay-at-home parent for 4 years while my wife's career has flourished. We agreed to have me stay home while the kids were young. But now I'm going back to work for way less than I was making when I left work, and she's over 6 figures now. So she's going to end up owing maintenance, alimony and child support, which will be calculated by a formula based on each of our salaries and number of overnights. My future ex said she's concerned I'm going to ask for more than 50% just to get more money. That's not true, I just want what's best for our kids. I was considering changing tactics and just getting her to agree to straight 50-50, with minimal drop-offs like week on week off. Any feedback or perspective here would be appreciated, especially if you have been through this part of the process already. What would you have done differently? My reply to my future ex-wife was no, I'm not going to fight for more custody for more money. These are our children, not trophies to be won. I want to live like my word. But with my position as the stay-at-home parent, I'd likely get more than 50%. If I pushed for it. Is it just easiest to agree to split the kids 50-50 and minimize the stress and court fees? I also don't want to give the kids that either of their parents are more important than the other in the case one of us is awarded more than 50%. My thought is we can fight over the money in the house and our stuff, but maybe leave the kids out of this, don't make them bargains chips and just go 50-50. Am I rational here? Tia. Honestly, you will need 50-50 if you want to have time to rebuild your career and stabilize your income for after alimony ends. You will also need a break from the kids, and they will want to see their mom since it sounds like you all get along well enough. I'm at 85 and it's hard, really effing mental and physical exhaustion level hard. Greater than, but with my position as the stay-at-home parent, I'd likely get more than 50%. If I pushed for it. Can you still be a stay-at-home parent after the divorce? Because most can't. If that's the case, sounds like you're okay with 50-50. Deviating from the state standard gets expensive. I left one part out. I start a new job on February 22nd. So 50-50 is probably good. Yes, we have since had what seemed like an amicable discussion and agreed informally and verbally that we would agree to 50-50 custody of the kids. I'm relieved because now, at least for the kids, we don't have to go spend hundreds of dollars per hour airing out our dirty laundry for the court and probably ending up with 50-50 custody anyway. We will be starting our parenting plan the day I start my new job. Monday the 22nd. We will trade off every other weekend like we have been since November. We've just tacked on Friday our every other weekends, then splitting the rest of the week. She will be responsible for the kids Mondays and Tuesdays, I will have Wednesdays and Thursdays. Seems pretty cut and dry, and I hope it just works for us, for now and after the divorce is finalized. Next we have to work out our money, then who is going to keep the house, we both want it. Then finally the stuff. I think agreeing to 50-50 custody of the kids before we even got started was the right thing to do for so many reasons. Thanks for asking. Let me know if you want to know more. I'm happy to share. We hope you have enjoyed this episode. Please let us know what you think of the long form. Also please like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a wonderful day or night, wherever you are.